Bob McClure is here to tell us how the income gap might be slowing down the recovery in his Money and Markets segment.
An interesting topic here, following in on Dr. Michel's topic about more income inequality and who makes what. And certainly one of the great debates in various economic systems is who should make what. Should everyone be equal? Should those at the top make more and those at the bottom less? And how big should that gap be? In the last several months, there have been two pioneering studies done talking about that specific issue. How big should that gap be? A study done by the Standard & Poor's said that income inequality is a huge drag on the U.S. economy. Since 2005, the U.S. economy, as we probably all know, has been very slow. Standard & Poor's specifically used the phrase income inequality in their report. And the thing that's interesting about that is that income inequality is a phrase that has been pioneered by the left. And they've talked about income inequalities in various different aspects of life, whereas on the right, the discourse has been primarily about income redistribution. Standard & Poor's is a completely non-political organization. Their reports are specifically for investors and clients, trying to guide them toward smart investments in financial assets and real estate. So the fact that they have used this terminology for their study was fairly groundbreaking, and it kind of mimics a study done by Thomas Piketty, a French economist, and he put out a study earlier this year specifically addressing the same issue in his book, Capital in the 21st Century. In his book, he pointed out that those who have a lot of income tend to spend it and then save a bunch of it, whereas those on the lower economic end of the spectrum tend to spend what they have and then more, and they have to borrow. So they use debt to fill in that gap, and that excess spending tends to contribute to the boom and bust cycles. Now, the thing that he had to say was that the economy, the capitalist system, needs economic intervention from the government. Well, that's just plain old Econ 101. That's Keynesian economics. There's nothing groundbreaking there. The thing that has been very interesting is that now in the last year we have Standard & Poor's, a very non-political organization, talking specifically about income inequality, and then Thomas Piketty writing this book about income inequality, and it went to #1 on the New York Times bestseller list. Now, one interesting side note on that is that the New York Times tends to be a fairly left-leaning publication, and they're very much behind Piketty's work. Whereas on the right, you take a publication like the Wall Street Journal, they have a lot of problems with his work. And so while it's still not come right to center, big steps have been made toward making this a sort of topic for the everyman. So Paulo, Sunita, I think we're in for a year of more discussion of income inequality.
Well, Bob, I was really interested that their recommendations from this was that we need to spend more money on education. That if we actually spent more money on education, we'd probably get a 2.4 increase in the growth rate, which, I think coming from them is so important. We talk about them as separate issues sometimes.
Yes, income and poverty, as we discussed last week, very tightly linked together. But spending on income, or education and infrastructure were the two main things that they say suffer under the capitalist system without government help.
Thanks, Bob, for that.